I have it on my iPad so I can see if we're live.
Righty.
I had it on my iPad. Um, well, there's an ad going, so I'm assuming that could be that we're live.
Says streaming on custom live streaming services or service.
Okay, let me see here. Oh, maybe it could help if I entered the studio, couldn't it? So I can see. Anyway, welcome everyone. It is one of those things trying to get this going, and I know we look like we're like, what in the world
Don't
is
know what we're
going on?
doing.
Every time we start because we're holding our breath like, is this actually going to work? But we are live and welcome everyone to our Basic Foundations of Card Making monthly craft along for June. So Rose and I are here to do our monthly regular craft along. So Basic Foundations of Card Making is absolutely, it has been a fantastic group, and the people, our members, are absolutely enjoying the content that we're giving them. We have been working with the color wheel this month. So color is a thing that I think a lot of people struggle with. I think they struggle with knowing what colors go together, how to use the colors, what's going to complement each other. So the color wheel is actually a great, fantastic tool to be using in your craft room. So if you want to join for next month, the links should be in the description of the videos. I'm sure I've got it sorted that our links are in the description of the videos. If you want to join for next month, you can join right now, but you have to join before the end of the month so that you actually get next month's kit. So the cutoff date will be the end of June. So if it comes 1st of July, then we're ready to go because we're going to be ordering the product for everybody for next month come the 1st of July. So um, so what we've decided to do for this month, we're using complementary colors. So we're using three colors together and they're in like different tones. So we've got a dark, a medium, and a light. So far we've actually taught people how to do tone on tone stamping this month. We've also taught them how to combine two different colors on colored cardstock. And today we're actually showing how we can use all three in our projects. So Rose, do you have anything to say about what we've been hanging out and doing in the group?
Well, first of all, thank you to the new members that joined this month. And I think I've gotten some feedback that they got the color wheel. They never thought about using that before, and they're loving it. I think it's given everybody a little bit more I don't know what the word is, but confidence on how to create cards using different colors rather than trying to figure out, well, does this go with this and does this not go with this? So I've gotten a lot of good feedback on that. They're loving the color wheel, and you can still get the color wheel. Okay, because you can order it from me or Donna. If you get on to next month's and you don't have the color wheel, you can still order that. And I think it will help a lot in your card making and maybe even scrapbooking, just to see what colors go well with what your project is. And also sometimes, believe it or not, I'll look at some colors and I'll go, I don't think they go together. And then I look at the color wheel and I go, well, let me see. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they look gorgeous together. So definitely start using that. One thing I want to mention, because I think a lot of people miss that the instructions or the names of everything are on the back. I know when I did my two videos, there was that one, and I still don't know how to pronounce it. And I just tell you, hey, I don't know how to pronounce it. I have to ask Alexa over there, and I don't want to say
Is
that
that
too
that
loud.
analogous?
Yes, and analogic. I don't know.
Analogous, I think. Yeah.
And analogic. We'll all be on Google later trying to figure out how to.
And we'll be teaching you how to pronounce it in the wrong
Yeah,
way. But
right.
anyway.
But definitely check this color wheel out because I know a lot of people, this is streaming live, so a lot of people didn't get this because they weren't in the class. But definitely look into getting one of these because I think it's going to help you a lot, whether you've been stamping forever or just starting.
And I did have a question yesterday on my live video saying that if you haven't been a part of it from the beginning, do you get access to the other videos? And the answer is no, you don't get access to the other videos, but you do get access to our templates that we are using. So they are in every group. Every time we have a private group for each month. So we have a new group each month. So you get to be a part of that group, and you will stay in that group for a whole 12 months, while you are current, or even if you're not current, you will still have access to that group that you were a part of for the next 12 months until we come to that month next year, because we will then be taking members out and putting the new members back in. So it's a rotation each month, a different Facebook group each month, same title, just a different month in the title, so they're quite easy to find. And for everyone that is a member of our Basic Foundations of Card Making, Rose and I both invite you every month to these Facebook groups. If you are not accepting our invitation, then you're missing out on the content. So the thing is, you need to look out for it. If you can't find that notification, or you don't think you've been invited, just do a search for Basic Foundations of Card Making. Like for this month, June 2025. That's all you've got to do. You will find it. You will request to join. We know that you've paid, so therefore we will accept you into the group. So, but it's been fantastic so far. So we're super excited about this, because it's so nice to know that we are actually helping you with your card making and making your card making a much more simple, easy project. And I was explaining to my monthly card making class that I have in person that the whole purpose of us doing this is so that you can look at any card on Pinterest or any card on YouTube, and you know how to create it from using your template. Okay, so it doesn't matter that a card is made in America. It doesn't matter that a card is made in the UK or that a card is made in Australia. If you are using your templates, we are teaching you how to use your templates so that you can actually look at a card and say, I can recreate that in my measurements with my template. So that's as simple as it is. So they will look slightly different because of the different measurements, but you are still going to get the same look of your card in your measurement in your country that's going to fit in your envelope. So we're teaching a different way of looking at card making, rather than like when I have so many people that say to me on my videos, can you tell me the measurement of that layer? Can you tell me the measurement of that? I'm just like, your first basic layer, your next basic layer, whatever you use, because there's no point me telling my measurements to an American that doesn't use the same size cardstock as us. So, but you can still recreate it with your cardstock, with your measurements. So that is our whole aim out of this whole Basic Foundations of Card Making, is to allow you to be able to look on Pinterest and be able to recreate something, because you have the basic foundations of knowing how to look at a card and see that that is the card base, that is the first layer, that is the second layer. So in general, that's what we want you to be able to do, and do it with ease, because that's how we do it. We look at a card and go, well, I can recreate that. You just do it in your own measurements. So it won't work with fun folds, though. That's the other thing that you need to understand. It will not work with fun folds with certain measurements. So because I can tell you, I've tried that. I can tell you, but okay. All right. So are we ready to get going?
One other thing, Donna, I want to mention too is, well, maybe two. Donna talked about joining. If you're in the Australia, you join through Donna. If you're in the US, you join through me. Now, if you are not in one of those two countries, one of our countries, you can join under Donna or I, it doesn't matter, but you will not get the products that we send every month, but you will get invited to the group. You will get the content. You just will not get our products. And after this live, Donna and I are going to be talking about what we're going to be sending you next month. And I think Donna mentioned the new stamp set, maybe. So
maybe
you're going to want to definitely get in on that. If you've already, obviously, if you're already subscribed to it, you get that already. But we will be sending out those kits probably in the next maybe week or two.
Yeah. So you do get a sampling of products every month. So for me here in Australia, it's $50 to join for here in Australia. And we give you product that we purchase with the fee that you pay, and we send it out to you every month, and that's what you craft with every month. There are some other things that you will need in your own supplies, but most people have the supplies. If you don't, then you can reach out to us, and we are more than happy to work out for you to order some supplies that you need to order. We can do that. If you're in the US, you can order from Rose. If you're in Australia, you can order from me. So we are more than happy to help you along your journey. So it's for all levels of crafters. I can tell you, a lot of people think, oh no, I have to be a beginner. I have to not know anything about card making. I can tell you, I've got my casual crafters and my hobby people that absolutely are learning so much because they've gone along and started card making and had no training, no information given to them, and they've struggled for a long time. When they start using the basic foundations of card making, they're starting to realize the light bulb moments are happening for them to realize how to cut things, how to assemble things. And it is so nice to know that we have made something easier for somebody. And that's our whole purpose behind what we're doing. So, all right. So I'm going to get into it. And you all know us. We wing it. Like I'm winging it this morning. So I'll unspotlight you. So just bear with me because I've got to oh, what am I doing here? No, I don't want to remove you. I want to just God, it's been so long since I've done this. I
I
can't
know it
remember
seems like,
how
well,
to.
that's because you were on a month-long vacation.
There we go. Remove spotlight. There we go.
All
That's
right.
what I was trying to do. But anyway, I was like, and my eyesight, I was like, those little words are so little, I can't see what they're trying to say. But anyway, all right. So I'm actually using, you can see over here I've got quite a few flowers. I did a video yesterday that I created a lot of flowers, and I'm just looking at my desk. I didn't line my desk up, but anyway, now I'm lined up. All right, so we're using our templates. So from our templates, I always show people what template I'm using. I'm using our card bases, the regular size that we have for our country. And then I'm showing that we're using what layers. So for this template, we are going to be using our black layer, our berry burst layer. We are also going to use our melon mambo layer and our boho blue. And I thought about that today, Rose. Boho blue we don't have anymore, and we have a boho blue layer. But anyway, I looked at it and went, we don't have that color anymore. But anyway. All right, so I've got my card base. Okay, so first of all, got the card base. Now, my insert for my card is going to be my berry burst layer. Okay, sorry, my contrast layer, my black layer. So I always cut a black layer for the inside of my card. So always know that I've got that. So the first layer that I'm going to cut, that black layer, I'm going to do with my berry burst. So I'm going to cut that. And you'll notice that Rose and I, neither of us mention measurements because we work from our template, so that if you're in the US, you're going to be using your black layer to get that contrast layer for the front. So we have our black layer there that I'm going to cut. Then for the berry burst layer, I want to cut some white. So I'm going to cut that one, which is going to be there. And there. I'm trying to use my brain now to think what my berry burst, instead of looking at the back of my berry burst layer, but yes, I have got that right. So I've done the berry burst layer for white. Now, the next two layers I want to have is the lighter colors. So in everyone's kit that did my basic foundations of card making, we had the three colors were our bubble bath, our fresh freesia, and our berry burst. So you can see there, look at that color combination. Don't they just go together absolutely beautifully? All right, so the next layer I'm going to do is this melon mambo layer. And I just cheated and looked at the back so I can see what the measurements were. So I'm doing that out of the fresh freesia. there. And then the next one I'm going to do is our bubble bath, and that is going to be the boho blue layer. And where did I just put the boho blue bit? There it is there. Okay, so that's all my layers cut. So now I'm going to show you what that looks like all layered up so you can see just the foundation of your card. So we have our card base, which I haven't folded yet. So we have our card base, we have our contrast layer, we have our berry burst layer, we have our fresh freesia layer, and we have our bubble bath layer. Okay. So one of the things that I actually was doing with my card this month was creating some designer series paper look with stamping with the colors and tone on tone color, creating that designer series paper. So I'm going to go with the same theme with this card as well, but creating like a background or an edge or a border using the colors that we are using. So on my white piece, I'm going to do the same thing. And you can do this with any stamp set that you want. I used the Gallery Bloom stamp set, so I'm going to bring that in so I can show you. That's the stamp set that I use because I love the flowers, and I think flowers for doing this type of thing are so easy to use. So that's why I actually use this. Now, if you're going to do tone on tone stamp, if you're going to do stamping with 3 different colors and you're going to use the same stamp, if you start, now we probably shouldn't teach you these bad tricks, but this is what I do to save time. If we start with the light color, we can go straight to the next darker color and not actually have to clean our stamp. So that's what I love about using all different colors. So because this is a photopolymer, but I shouldn't probably tell you that, you should probably get into good practice and actually clean your stamps every time, but sometimes we don't have that option. And I'm just grabbing a scrap paper piece of paper because I want to stamp off. One of the things that makes stamping really, really nice is stamping off in the background and stamping off the edge of your card, because I know a lot of people are scared. They think they've got to stamp right in on that piece of cardstock. And I always say to people, stamp off the edge, it looks better. So you'll understand what I mean when I do this corner. So if I wanted to do this corner, if I stamped right inside, I would have white edges around here, and it looks like the flowers just sort of hanging there in the middle of nowhere. So I like to stamp off the edge, and I'm using our bubble bath here. So I'm stamping off the edge just to create some corners on this bit. Now this is the piece that's going to sit behind my focal point on the front of the card. So I don't need too much stamping here, and I'm only using that one color to start off with. But if I wanted to drum it up a bit, I could use a couple of different colors. So let's use a couple of different colors. Why not? I was actually just going to use one color, but now I'm going to keep going. All right, so I can use Fresh Freesia, but I can use a different stamp out of this set. So we've got this stamp here that I can use. So I'm going to ink up with Fresh Freesia, and I'm going to add some of these pieces coming in as well. So I'm just using the end or the tip of it just to add a little bit of a highlight coming down through. And remember, we're having layers that are going to go over this. This is just creating a border around what we're going to stamp on eventually. Now, if I want to go again for a third time, so typically when I'm going to use 3 colors, I like to use the largest stamp with the lightest color. The medium color, I like to use medium stamps, medium-sized stamps, and the smallest I like to, or the darkest color, I like to do with the smaller stamps. It just gives a much more, you don't want to have a big stamp in the middle of your project with the dark color and then have it getting really overpowered by that color. So you can see here, when I start putting that dark color in amongst it, we don't want to see too much of that because otherwise it would really overpower our card. So let's just pop a couple of these up around the edge. And I like to just rotate my layer when I'm trying to do, instead of trying to get your hands around. One of the things that I see a lot of brand new stampers, they're trying to get themselves right around here to stamp the top of their thing. Rotate your paper, rotate your cardstock. It's so much easier. All right, so as you can see, I'm then going to pop these over the top. So now we have a really nice border. I actually feel like now that I'm looking at that, I feel like I need a little bit more of the Highland Heather in there. So I'm going to grab, sorry, not Highland Heather, Fresh Freesia. I'm just going to grab that and put a little bit of Fresh Freesia coming in through there. So we have a beautiful floral border just like that. Okay. Now, when you're using the complementary colors, you're going to see, once I put the layer under this, how it's actually going to bring that border that I've just stamped. It's going to bring it alive once you put a really nice dark contrast layer under it. So I'm going to bring in my Berry Burst and pop that in there. Now, can you see how that just brought that whole framed border alive? All right, so on the front of this, I'm actually going to do a little bit of tone on tone stamping just on this one here, because I want to layer that up, but then I'm going to put a focal point over the top, and I'll show you what I'm going to do there. So let's bring in our paper again. And all I'm going to do on this one is, I do have to clean my stamp now because oh no, I don't think I did use a different color. No, I didn't. So I can still use my bubble bar. I'm going to stamp just this floral again on this layer here. So now this is the tone on tone stamping that we were talking about. We're using Bubble Bath on Bubble Bath. So that gives you that tone on tone look like that. All right. Now I want to stamp on a scrap of basic white. So I'm going to bring in just a bit of leftover basic white here. I'm going to stamp the large stamp, and I'm going to do that in our Berry Burst. I'm going to ink up that large flower, and you can see my Berry Burst is very juicy, because it's one of my favorite colors, and I remember having it in a class, and it was so it needed re-inking really, really bad. All right, so I've done the flower. Now, if you don't have dies, and I know that we haven't used a lot with dies or anything like that, I'm going to cut it out with a die, but I could fussy cut that. If I wanted to, I could fussy cut that. But for the sake of today's video, we're going to use a die. And I do apologize to all my basic people that don't have dies, but I just wanted to, and anyway, this will teach you what a die cutting machine is all about and why you really, really need to buy one, because I can tell you, it took my card making to a whole new level. There's nothing on a card that I don't do die cutting. Very rarely do I not do die cutting. And I shouldn't be teaching you not to put any washi tape on there to hold that down. But anyway, and see, it moves. So that this will be a good lesson to everybody why you actually would use washi tape, because it moved a bit. But you know what? I'm going to be okay with it. So it moved a little bit, but we could fix that by putting that die back on there and recutting. But I'm just going to get my scissors and trim around. There's a little bit of an extra white edge there that I don't really need. So I'm just going to, if I can find my scissors. Wow, isn't this fun? Like live crafting, and now my scissors aren't in the drawer. So that'll be fun. Oh my Lord, where are they? I've got this huge, huge pair of scissors and I can't fussy cut with them. Anyway, we're going to go with the flower the way it is. We're definitely winging it this morning, aren't we? All right. So now I'm going to start assembling my card. So I'm going to fold my card base in half. I'm going to use my bone folder to crease that so it's really nice and creased really well. I've got ink all over my fingers, so I'm going to try not to get it on my project. All right, now, choice of adhesives is totally personal to whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm a liquid glue girl. We all know that I'm a liquid glue girl and Rose is a seal girl. So whatever you feel comfortable with is what you do. It's one of those things, like you do you, isn't it? All right, so we are going to adhere that one like so. And then this one and this one. So you can see how the three colors are really complementing each other when you're using them in conjunction with each other. A lot of the time people do tend to not stamp on colored cardstock. They think that they should only be stamping on the white cardstock. I always like to use tone on tone stamping is really, really nice. Like I find it takes your projects to a whole nother level when you start doing that tone on tone stamping. I just realized I didn't stamp my insert, so I'm going to bring that back in. Now I have no sentiments on this card, and I'm not going to put any sentiments on the card for the simple fact that I like to make cards sometimes that are just in my collection that I can just use when I need a specific card. They're a nice, I feel like florals are really good for that. They're a nice floral card that I could turn this into a wedding card. I could turn it into a birthday card. I could turn it into a thank you card. So more versatile if I don't put a sentiment on it. But I will show you that if I've got a sentiment on my desk here, I will show you what it will look like with a sentiment. But I'm actually going to leave it without because I like to have some of those in my collection. All right, we are going to adhere our layer to the inside. So once again, I've just brought a little bit of the front of the card to the inside of the card. So I've done similar here to what I've been doing here. I brought it to the inside of the card. Look at that. You could even just make a card like that. Look how pretty that looks. All right, so that's the inside. We can go there. So I'm going to glue that straight down because I want to, I was talking about this in one of my videos. I think it was yesterday in my live video, that you've got to think about what you're going to do when you're layering up your card. Like you don't want to pop this up and then go, okay, well now I want to pop that layer up and then I want to pop that up. You're going to end up with a card that's like so thick. So you've got to think about what you're going to do. I am going to do two lots of things here. I'm going to pop up that center part because I think it will just accent that center part. And then I'm going to pop up my flower. But you're already going to add postage anyway when it comes to, because you've popped it up because of the thickness. So 2 layers is not too bad. When you start going 3 and 4 layers of dimensionals, that's when you're going a little bit over the top. Gosh, and I can't even find my take a pic tool. I've been out, so I'll explain why I'm so scattered this morning. I have my 2-day craft retreat that is happening tomorrow. So I'm madly getting everything sorted for all of my ladies to come and spend 2 days with me crafting. So time has been very limited with everything that I've been doing to get organized. So I've got that there. Then, of course, I'm going to pop up my flower. So I love this flower because it's got some nice, good spots that you can put some dimensionals on. So you've got your good big buds that you can pop your dimensionals on. There's also a leaf here that you can pop a little mini one on. I don't do anything with the stem. I find that it's totally okay to leave that stem flying free. I don't think it really hurts if you don't put anything on there. But it's got good spaces to be able to put dimensionals on, which is great. And like now, when I put all those dimensionals on, I really would love my take your pick tool, but I'm positive it's out in my craft studio out the back. So we'll just remove those backings. So Theo's probably going to be wearing these around for the day because they're going to end up on the floor for sure. All right, so I'm just going to straddle in that clear part that I have there. I'm going to straddle that flower there like that. Now, my members got some of this ribbon that we had. That was a celebration ribbon, I think. I'm just going to tie a bow. I'm going to cut the bow off camera so you don't see the big clumpy scissors I'm about to use to cut the bow. I suppose it's better that I have some scissors rather than trying to chew the bow off with my teeth, I guess. Oh, my bow doesn't want to work this morning either. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to hide my big clumpy scissors. I hope they cut the ribbon. Oh, yeah, they cut the ribbon good. Anyway, all right, so I'm going to adhere my bow on there. Now, if I was going to put a sentiment, I could possibly do a nice little thin sentiment and have it extruding off that layer there. I could possibly put a little tiny sentiment up here, but depending on what I'm going to use this for is where I'm going to put the sentiment, depending on how big it's going to be. But as I said, I'm going to use it without a sentiment this morning. Or should I say this evening for all the American people?
Evening, morning.
All right. And then my group got some of these other sequins as well. Oh, wow. I'm going to have fun putting these out without scissors and without a take a pick tool. How am I? Oh, here, there's my scissors. I found them under the white cardstock. All right. I'm going to take these ones. And then I just like to scatter a couple of little sequins around. Always like to do them in 3s or 5s. So I'm probably going to put 2 there. Probably going to go a little bit crazy with these because I like these sequins. They're quite cute. So let's do 5. Oh, that one escaped. Put that one there, and then I'll put another one. And typically when I'm doing them, I tend to look at them in triangles. So however you're going to place them, if you can see that you can sort of make a triangle with the 3 of them, or yeah, it tends to be a little bit more pleasing to the eye. Then, of course, a little bit of Wink of Stella to move that color around a little bit on there, because we taught people how to color with Wink of Stella, but sometimes even when you've used your ink. So there you go. There's my Wing It Basic Foundations of Card Making card for our craft along. What do you think?
Absolutely gorgeous.
So I can see here I've got some comments that have come up too here on my YouTube channel. We've got I'll remove my spotlight now, and then we will hand it over to Rose.
Yes,
Rose.
thank you.
Okay, there you go.
All right. So, and I'm not sure, I think Donna shared this to my YouTube channel too, but
Yes,
if not, I'll
yeah,
get
it
it
should
on
be
there later.
streaming out to yours as well. I'll double check on that.
We just
Rose,
never
it'll be-
know how things are gonna.
I'll double check on it. I'll have a look.
Yeah, that's okay. We can do that later. And I apologize for this mess, but I was all set up for my Facebook Live tomorrow morning and then remembered, oh, wait a minute, I have to clean this off for tonight. So what I did, let me just move this up. What I did was I just kind of like moved everything out. So what Donna was saying is true about the you know, making a designer series background with your card, your ink and your stamps. And the funny thing is, Donna and I do not really talk about which card, what we're going to do for our live card. And when we end up doing them, we end up doing something very similar. So I'm going to take my half a sheet of white, card base, thick white, which my members got. And to my members, I apologize. I don't even remember which ribbon I sent you. So it was so long ago. I think I got him out like real early this time.
So we've got a few people on. I'm looking at your live video, Rose. You've got Karen,
Perfect.
Dennis, Joy,
Great.
Jillian,
Thanks, Donna.
Linda, Louise, and I've got on mine, I've got oh, maybe I'm seeing all the same people on here because I'm just repeating them over here. Although I do have Siobhan that I haven't seen on there. I've got Regina on here that I haven't seen. Margaret, welcome. Louise, okay. Julie, good morning, everyone. So please chime in, say hello. I can see some comments here, so please chime in, say hello. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Now I have my camera. Let me just, oh, there, that's better. I was like, wait a minute, why isn't this working? Okay, so there's my card base, a half a sheet of card base, half a sheet of cardstock. This is the same as your black template. And then I have, and my colors I used were Coastal Cabana, Lost Lagoon, and Pretty Peacock. So then I also, for the Coastal Cabana, I use the Berry Bushel size. And again, we're not saying the sizes because if you're with us, you have that template. Then I took our, what was it? The one that's
Boho blue.
Boho Blue, which is no more, but you can still use that for your template. I used that template. And then I kind of cheated a little bit because my Lost Lagoon is actually just a strip that I'm going to use instead of from a template. Okay. And then I'm also going to use a square, which is from our other template. And this is our Granny Apple Green one. So I'm going to bring in my mat.
So
And I'm
how
going to
wide
do
is that strip? Just so that, because people are going to
Oh,
probably
well,
ask
I'm
how wide
probably,
the
yeah,
strip
I'm
is.
probably going to cut it down because it's just a leftover strip and it is 1 inch by 5 1/4. So I will
Yeah.
probably cut that down a little bit, but it was sitting there and I kept looking at it and I thought I'm going to use it. So one of the things like Donna was talking about is using the 3 colors and, and I was going to do the same thing, light to dark, and then you don't have to clean them. Not that I do that all the time, but sometimes it comes in handy. But then I thought, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to turn out because, like we said, this is a card on the fly. And I've been working with this Inspiring Imperfection stamp set. So that's what I had on my desk, and I've been using that for this. So I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to bring in the lighter color first, the Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to bring in that vase. I love this this set, and I think it was last week on my Facebook Live Friday on this. And this is one of those sets that I was like, yeah, I like it. But when I started using it, I was like, okay, I love it. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a background, but you see what I'm doing too. I'm not re-inking it. I'm leaving it light and dark. I just want to add a little bit of color to it. Then I have the next layer, which is the actual Coastal Cabana. And I'm going to take that piece and I'm going to use the cup this time. This time I'm going to ink it up each time. And I'm going to go right up there. So this is what we call tone on tone because it's the same exact color going through the whole piece of cardstock. Then I'm going to take the Pretty Peacock and I am going to grab my Pretty Peacock color ink. I'm going to use the flower this time. And I could turn it around if I wanted to, like this, and get some more in there just to give it a little bit of a background. Okay. I'm going to take these layers and I'm going to layer these up. But I'm not going to layer them straight. I thought about doing it this way. But then I kind of thought, you know what? I kind of like it a little off-centered so that you can see all those beautiful colors and how well they go together. And you're probably wondering, well, what are you going to do with that strip that you said you were going to use?
I was just going to say, are you still going to use
What are
this?
you doing? What are you going to do with that 1 inch strip? I am actually going to put that behind here, and I'm not actually stamping on it. I'm going to leave that plain. But here's where I said I probably have to trim it because it's just a hair longer than what I want it. I want it at 5 1/4. And yeah, that is just there we go. Just a hair.
So is that going to be flush with your white layer that you just did?
That's going to be flush with my white layer. Yep. And you
Just
can
so
see I'm
that
using Stamp and
for the
Seal.
Aussies, they're just going to do it that little bit. Yeah.
And I don't recommend you do what I just did as far as putting the glue, I mean, like this on your project, but I do because I'm in camera view. So now I have that strip there. And I'm going to layer that one down. This one I'm actually going to use for dimensionals, which I actually ran off and got from the other side of my desk while you were doing your card, Donna, along with my take your pick tool, which I also forgot.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I didn't go first, I probably could have ran out and got mine too, but I probably wouldn't have realized I didn't have it in here until I started crafting anyway.
I only noticed it because you mentioned it, and I'm just gonna put dimensionals in each corner here. I'll do that off camera. It's like that. Whoop, I want it that way though. I'm gonna put that there first, but I'm not putting it down yet. And then I have this little piece. I just love Pretty Peacock. And the tone on this one is so rich and elegant. I think. Just
Yeah,
what I
Pretty
think.
Peacock's one of my favorites.
Now I'm going to add this. And like Donna and I said, these are on the fly cards. So this one I think I'm going to put this way. And this one I think I'm going to put this way. Yep. Okay, now that I have an idea, now I can lay it down. At least this one. I'll show you why I'm not layering the other one down yet. Okay. So this one I've decided to go right here. But before I do that, I'm going to grab some of my ribbon. And I am going to actually put a little Stampin' Seal here. Maybe right there. And I'm just going to add a little bit of white ribbon there. When you said you didn't have your scissors, I was like, okay, where are mine? My ribbon scissors are not here, but I do have my paper snips. Now I can take these off.
I do have mine now too, after I found them under the white cardstock.
I'm glad you do that because I do that all the time when I'm live and I have everything laid out nice and perfect. And then as I start crafting, I can't find a darn thing.
And that's what I mean. This morning I put them back in my drawer because I was like, I'm going to be looking for the scissors. So I'll put them in my drawer. So I know, oh, I just found my take your pick tool too. I just seen it underneath the printer tray. There you go.
There, you see, you found that too. So now this is my card base so far. I'm going to take another piece of the Coastal Cabana and I am going to ink this up in actually pretty peacock. So I'm going to actually do this darker on that one. So it really stands out. This one too does have dies. I didn't have the dies out here. Donna showed you how to use dies, so I'll show you how to fussy cut, which we've also been doing in that class, in this
Yeah, I
class.
know. I probably should have fussy cut my flower, but
Well, you know what? This vase right here is so easy to fussy cut that even if you don't have the dies, I mean, it's just like really, really easy.
I mean, we all went to school. We all learned how to cut things out. I always say that to people, like people that say, "Oh, I don't want to fussy cut." Why? That's horrible. And I'm like we
I
all
love
learned
a
how to
fussy
cut
cut.
things out.
I'm going to add this right here. Now, remember, this is the card. So this is going right here. Now, this I'm going to do flat because I've already got it dimensionals on there. And I don't want any more puffiness, as I call it. But I also have a different level here. So what I'm going to do is put a dimensional on this side so that it's the same height as my other layers and it doesn't rock. And while I'm thinking about it, I got to tell you a funny story. I mean, I stamped for years and all of a sudden I was like, fussy cut, what's that? So for those of you that don't know what fussy cutting is, now you know.
But
Okay.
like, and so if Rose wanted to actually put that pot up, pop it up on that Pretty Peacock layer, she would have to double dimensional that vase that's hanging off the
Right.
side. So she would, instead of just putting the one dimensional and then gluing it straight onto the Pretty Peacock, if she wanted to pop it up again to bring that vase popped up, she would have to put a dimensional on the left-hand side of the vase, but she would have to put two on the right-hand side to bring it up even.
Right. You have to make it even, otherwise it rocks. Now I've got this white ribbon and I'm not even sure I'm going to keep it here, but I just have this idea in my head, and that's what I'm going to try. I'm going to put this ribbon right here. I don't want it too big. I don't want it to overpower the vase, but I do want it to go over the vase just the hair. Or as I tell my hairdresser, just cut it a smidge. Just a smidge. I just want it just a little bit like that. And then I'm going to cut it off. And I may still trim this when I'm done. Thank goodness I got the paper snips that are pretty sharp, not my dull ones. Straighten that. I know. Let me take this out of here because what happens is you're looking at the white background and you're going, is that straight? So this is straight. This whole thing is not supposed to be straight. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in I'm going to make a square. Remember I said the Granny Apple green, which I think is going to be too big. So I think I'll go a little bit smaller. And I'll go with, for those of you who have the template, I'm going to go with the pool party size. And I am going to grab my paper trimmer. And I'm going to make that pool party size from a piece of white cardstock, which should be over here somewhere. Okay, I got a full sheet, but I'll use. No, I don't want to use a full sheet. This is the great thing about having that template. It
Surely
saves
there's a
you.
scrap there somewhere in your craft room.
Absolutely. And that's what's nice about having the template. Because now look, I got this piece, this scrap piece, but now I can cut it to my pool party size. There we are. And I can use it for my sentiment. It's exactly what I need. And we're going to do it here. I think it'll fit perfectly. There we go. Whoop, I just hit my camera. Sorry about that. So now I have that pool party size on my white. And I am going to grab this. Thank you. Whoop, I want the darker color. Look at that. Perfect size for my sentiment. And then
So
I am
we have
going
a few
to.
others have joined. We've got Linda has joined. I've seen, who else was I seeing? Hilda has joined us. Good morning, people. Please feel free to share this over onto your social media. So share it onto your Facebook when you're watching on YouTube. You've just got to hit that little share button and share it back over onto Facebook so that other people can come and hang out and craft with us.
Absolutely. I'm going to put a few more dimensionals. Yeah, I go dimensional crazy. Now remember, this is the card. It's a little bit off-centered. That's the way we wanted it. But this has to go right onto here so that it doesn't lay off that side. I'll just fix that just a little bit so that bow actually looks like it's on the vase, but it's not. And then my group got the iridescent foil gems, which the reason I love these gems so much, no matter what color your project is, it brings out the color. So we're going to use 2 large ones. I'm going to grab another small one, I think, right there. I'm going to bring in my card base. Now you saw Donna put an extra layer in here, and that's perfectly fine. I am going to just stamp my flower without adding an extra layer. I think I have enough layers on front of this card.
You know, I have to get myself into when I've got a white card base stamping directly onto the inside because I'm so used to layering up. And I know that that our cardstock prices went up.
Right.
And I keep thinking to myself, I'm just in such a habit of putting an insert on every single card, whether it's white, whether it's colored or not. So when I've got white ones or light colored ones, I really don't need to.
No, you don't. And I was going to say the same thing. I never put a white layer inside my card. I stamp right on the inside. If you ever got a card from me that has another insert of white in there, it means I stamped it wrong the first time and I covered it up. You can do it with white. You can do it with the very vanilla, the beige, any light colors you can stamp directly on your card. And you're right, with the cardstock being a little bit more expensive, even though it's the best around, it saves you. So this is my finished card using those three colors in
Very
inks
nice.
and cardstock.
Very nice. Well done.
Thank
All
you.
right. Now, what have I got to do? Spotlight the both of us so that we can, there we go. Rose is going to be spotlight. Oh God, I've got to
Alrighty.
put my camera back up to me. That could help. All these things I've got to do, and
Thank God you do them because
uh,
I'd be lost.
head spotlight. There we go.
Okay.
It takes me a bit, but anyway, I often and I don't have a poker face. You know what I mean? Like it's like you can see the confusion on my face, like when I'm trying to do it. But anyway, so
You forget I've seen you
there's
forget,
my
Donna.
card. So Rose might want to hold hers up as well
Oh
for
yeah.
the.
I was gonna say you forget, Donna. I saw you in a casino. Yes, you don't have a poker face.
So there you go. There are two cards. So hopefully you enjoyed that today. It has been super awesome to be hanging out with our Basic Foundation members. If you want to get in on the action, hit those links up in the description of our video. I'm hoping the links are there. I'm positive that I just put it in our template that they're always
Well,
there.
we'll check it. If they're not there, just check back with us in a little bit. We'll add them.
I was going to say, if they're not there either, you go to stampersdelight.com for Rose, is that correct?
Right.
And for me, stampingwithdonnag.com. So that's how you'll find us. So no dramas. So thanks for hanging out with us. And
Yes, thank you, everyone.
we will be back at the end of July for our next craft along. So we will see you all then.
One last
Oh,
thing.
hang on,
If
hang
you're
on.
in the Facebook group, if you're already subscribed, remember we will have the still shots of these cards in the Facebook group. If not tonight, or for Donna, it's morning. For me tonight, then it will be tomorrow morning.
All right. Okay, so hopefully I can